this comes with Windows 10 Home. What the, come on, let's get rid of that Windows Home. Let's get some Windows Pro. Copy and paste my code from the description. You can also get Office 2019. Just paste my code. Woof, it's Windows Pro time. Righto, tell the there champs, now let's see how this ZenBook Pro Duo performs for content creation. It is a content beast, has that dual display, so you can, get all the benefits of having two displays. You can imagine Photoshop, video editing, Premiere, put, tools down the bottom screen or your preview monitor and then do your cutting on the main display. You can imagine it is friggin' epic in terms of that sort of thing. Dual screen benefits. No other laptop really does this. So let's see how it is for content creation, the performance. Now, let's first look at some low-hanging fruit here, and actually recording this on the Mac because I couldn't be stuffed setting up OBS and I had some B footage and it was just easier to airdrop it. So if we have a look here, we can see the DPC latency. Yeah, it's going into the red. Now, every Windows laptop fails with this, but apparently if you use ASIO drivers, you can bypass all this crap and then you won't have any, problems with, latency or whatever. But I will say, I had no issues. Like the last review I done on this, the gaming review, I recorded audio into it and it's no problem. And I'll give you the tip here. Okay, so this is a Mac. I get this all the time on my Mac. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with the T2 chip, but it doesn't happen on Windows. And apparently people said, set the buffer to a different size from 128 to 256, but I'm using like a Claret. It's like low latency, Focusrite Claret, whatever, Pre-2 or whatever it is. It's got low latency. Should be able to go even lower than 128. So I don't know why this plays up on the Mac and on Windows machines, never plays up on the same sort of buffer size of 128. So even though it comes up as it's not going to be great for DPC latency, your mileage may vary. I haven't had any issue with Windows using ASIO drivers and recording stuff, even though on the DPC latency, you can see, it's saying, it's in the red. So whatever. So let's just go to the battery life quickly here. And this is the battery report. I've only had it for a couple of days. So, in the full review, I'll cover it more. But you can see there, 71 watt hour battery. Okay, that's the design capacity. 71 watt hours we're getting. So we're getting more charge than the actual design capacity. That's good. Designed by ASUS. And if we have a look here at some of the usages, the battery runs, that was 3 hours 28. That was just running YouTube. You got a 5-hour battery run there, and the screen was static for a long time because I'd turn off the, screensaver and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't really doing much on that, but got 5 hours, have 1 hour battery run there, 2 hours 38, and that was actually with this second screen off. And overall, I would say you're going to get, that seems about right. You're getting that 3-4 hours, maybe 4 hours with the other screen off. It's not the best battery life. Obviously, having two displays, it doesn't surprise me at all. And if you really want, killer battery life, this is not the laptop for you. But, if you can get around the 4 hours, it might be acceptable. That is up to you to decide. Now, I did measure the brightness of both displays, and you can see here, that's the second display. So the second display is about 190 nits of brightness. The main display was 400 nits from memory. 407 nits from memory. Color gamuts, I actually did for a laugh measure the color gamut of the second display, which you can see there, 93% sRGB, not too bad. Really, it's half the brightness of the main display. This is the secondary display, and the color gamut, or whatever, it's like 67% P3, whereas the other one's 100% P3. So that is what it is. You can notice that it is half the brightness, and the color gamut, it's in the 90s sRGB, so that's not too bad. But it's nowhere near as bright as the main display. It is half the brightness, literally. And you can see here 100% DCI P3 and 91% Adobe RGB. So it is that same sort of OLED everyone's using. It is a cracking display, beautiful display. So for content creation, it's going to be epic. If we have a look at SSD speeds, no problems whatsoever here. That's plenty fast enough. 3,000 read, over 2,000 writes. They can change the SSD at a drop of a hat. So it does have a Samsung PM981, I think, in there. They can change that at any time. Now let's look at some benchmarks, and we can see here, look, whoa, that is a massive score. 861, okay. 73 on the graphics. We have a look at here, Aero 15, OLED 2070, RTX 2070 in this, 735, and the XPS 15 i7, 729. So it's actually competing with the Macs. It's not as fast as like the Mac, the 8-core one. If you don't know, the Adobe Suite is optimized for the Mac now in most things, not all things, especially H.264 and Photoshop and stuff. But yeah, 73 graphics, that's like faster than the RTX 2070 in the graphics score for the Aero 15. So the RTX 2070, this one scores better in Photoshop. So the RTX 2060, the full version, is nearly as fast as, sometimes faster than the RTX 2070. Well, certainly in this sort of content creation at least. All right, so let's go to the After Effects benchmark. And this does have an i9, as you can see here, i9 9980H. By the way, those other Windows laptops did have the i7, so they had 6 cores. So it's not 100% fair, but here we can see 825. This is the Aero 17 because it has the i9 in it. So this is like for like. So if I grab these two, we'll put them side to side. The snap-in feature in Mac OS is so crap. So if we look side to side, we can see both of these are i9s. So the Aero 17 on the left, which has an RTX 2070 Max-Q, and we have an i9 with the ZenBook Pro Duo, and that has an RTX 2060, not Max-Q, full. Okay, and you can see it is faster, and it's significantly faster. 825 versus 718, that's a big bump there. And tracking score, look at that tracking score, it's out of this world. 89 compared to, yeah, so this is a content creation machine. After Effects, it's killing it. Didn't think it would be that much different. So that is what it is. I mean, the 2060 is obviously a beast. Yeah, it's competing with the 2070 Max-Q again. It's beating it. So interesting there. Let's go to Premiere Pro. All right, so side by side here, Aero 17 on the left, i9 RTX 2070 Max-Q, ZenBook Pro Duo on the right, i9 RTX 2060 full. Not Max-Q. So you can see they're so close, like neck and neck. 862 versus 860. Pretty much margin of an error there. Quick export time, a little bit faster on the Aero. I reckon the Aero is faster because it can maintain a higher clock. And this was with the minus 100 millivolt on both of them. Yeah, it can maintain a slightly higher clock on the Aero there. So I reckon that's why it got the faster export times. But yeah, very close. And considering this is RTX 2060 and the other one's 2070 Max-Q, and it's a gaming laptop, in terms of content creation laptops, this ZenBook Pro Duo is definitely the fastest. Now, I'm not including the Aero as a content creation because that's clearly a gaming first. That can be a content creation laptop, no doubt about it, but it's primarily designed as a gaming laptop, whereas the ZenBook Pro Duo is in no shape or form a gaming laptop. Right, so now let's have a quick look at the Cinebench Core. Now this is undervolted by the minus 100 millivolt, which I've already said many times that's what I'm doing from now on because manufacturers are releasing laptops with undervolt. I want an even playing field here. So everything's getting undervolted by minus 100 millivolts. Great score here. Look at that, it's nearly 4,000. Okay, that's with that undervolt. And, you know, maintaining clocks of over 4 gigahertz to do this. And now the Aero 17 can do like nearly 4,500 and maintain nearly 100 watts. And, you know, high, 4.4, 4.6 sort of megahertz there. Just bear this in mind now. I'm just going to go here. And as you can see, boom, the ASUS ZenBook Pro Duo. Yes, it's on top. It is now the content creation king with my sample project. Now, you can see there the hardware encoding speed is phenomenal. Now, a lot of people think it's just the Intel HD that's being used there. It's not. They actually use a bit of the GPU too. And it clearly uses more GPU when it's hardware encoding than the Aero because I don't know why the Aero just uses less GPU when it's encoding hardware encoding. Now that HE hardware encoding undervolted, both undervolted and overclocked. Now I said before that the Mac is optimized for the, Adobe Suite. Yes, it is. And, clock for clock, the MacBook Pro would still be the fastest, as you can see here. The new Vega one there. 6 minutes versus 5 minutes 40. But the ZenBook Pro and the Aero with that i9 maintaining over 4 gigahertz, and you think about the MacBook Pro can only do about 2.8 gigahertz all-core burst. With that i9, these ones are doing over 4 gigahertz. Raw power is taking over here. So I think Adobe have been a bit lazy. This is just raw power taken over here with these scores or these times. If the Mac could maintain those sort of clocks, I probably would say it would still be faster again, just because of those optimizations. But now it is good to see the Windows laptops on top. Not because I have anything against the Mac, it's because it makes sense now, because the CPUs are going faster, they've got more thermal capacity, more power, much more powerful GPUs. They should be faster. And before it was like the Mac was faster, it was like, why? It was optimizations. Now just raw power's taken over, and you can meet now the new content creation king, the ZenBook Pro Duo. Pretty much keeps up with the RTX 2070 Max-Q and the Aero 17, which I would have thought would have been the best content creation device, or the king. It's close between the two, to be perfectly honest. You could choose either or. But in terms of content creation laptops, it is the king. This isn't a gaming laptop, so I won't compare it to the gaming laptops like the Aero, Razer and stuff like that. But in terms of content creation, XPS 15, MacBook Pro, X1 Extreme, this one is the king. It's competing with the gaming laptops in terms of speeds, even like winning. You can see from these benchmarks. And the utility of 2 displays. No other laptop has that. And if you're a content creator, 2 displays is much better than 1. It's much better for your workflow. I don't think I need to tell you that. You already know that. Battery life, it's mediocre. The display brightnesses are, there's a bit of a difference there. Maybe you can keep the laptop on an angle so you can see the bottom display better. But even if the screens, they're not the same brightness, not the same color gamut, it still doesn't matter, because you're using that second screen as sort of like a utility to put your toolbox there, or maybe your preview window there, or something like that. It's really just to help you in your workflow. It's not meant to be the same quality as the main display, and I think eventually they will get there. The secondary display will be as good as the main display. Actually, I think there'll be laptops where the whole bottom is a display. There's 2 displays and the keyboard will be on screen. Eventually that will happen, I would say. But anyway, content creation king, and the content creation laptops, at least in terms of performance, whether overall you can live with the battery life, it being a bit thicker, and whether you'll use the second display or not, well, that's up to you to decide. But in terms of benchmarks, yeah, that's right. You've seen it. It kills it. So catch you next one. Tally ho.